So we received a lot of questions from patrons yesterday, and we want to answer 2 today. So the first question comes from Lisa McGregor. She asks, how do I advance to the next stage of my career? I've been a PA since Noah built his ARC. I made all the initiatives, work on different sets. Is there any advice that we have for her to move forward in her career past the role of PA? Anybody can answer.
Lisa, I would say you got to build relationships and you got to be aggressive in what you want. If you've been PAing, I hope that you're using that opportunity to get to know everyone on the set, talk to everyone. You got to find that balance between being someone who's annoying and doesn't, read social cues, but being someone who's aggressive and a go-getter, and just keep over-delivering on your job that you're doing, but also realize that part of your job is building relationships. And so just talk to everyone, find ways to connect with everyone, and just be out there. The more people you know, the more opportunities that will funnel to you because people have information. And so, do some self-inventory, think about where you might need to improve, and just really make your job, make part of your job the networking component of building those relationships, because as you rise up, or as other people rise as well, if you do a great job, they're going to want you a part of their life, because you make people's lives easier, they tend to want to stay in business with you.
I'd also echo that and say the not being annoying part is essential. A lot of the people that we've hired and that have come through the way for Insecure and the other projects that we've done have just done the work, have made their intentions known up front, because there is something that you can see through about people, like, okay, this person's just trying to network. And I think the more disingenuous you feel, or the more targeted you feel, the less attractive you are to work with at the end of the day. But I think if you are clear about your intentions, you state them, and then you do great work, and you're also just a pleasant person to be around that isn't always talking about the industry, that isn't always talking about, your goals, then I think those 2, for me, are the most attractive qualities. And I tend to never forget.
Hey, Lisa.
Sorry, guys. Her name is Delisa.
Oh, Delisa.
My bad, Delisa. I was just giving her a nickname. I knew that.
Okay. Hi, Delisa. I would say that if you're looking to transition from a PA into your next step of a career, along with the great things that Issa and Montrell said, I would say that you should also look into opportunities of being an assistant. Being an assistant to a director, a showrunner, a great talent, a development executive could be a great segue into the new area that you would like to step into in the industry. By doing that, you can, get new opportunities, maybe find something else you may like that you didn't know you liked before. But if you've been a PA, it's a great area on set to be able to find those opportunities by talking to the people around you, asking questions, but again, asking them in a way where you're not being annoying, but also asking about information, because as they say, closed mouths don't get fed. So you have to ask to find out about stuff, but do it in a way where you're still being, cautious of the people around you, and, precise about the questions that you want to ask, and doing your own research at the end of the day. But that's a great thing to look into, is finding an opportunity to be an assistant to someone that you want to be like when you get older and mature through the industry.
Hey, can we take a moment to appreciate Ashley Calloway's Zoom voice? That was very impressive. I mean, she went full Miss America contestant right there. I love that.
Thank you, Montrell.
I'd say also beyond that, there's also a lot of email collectives and groups. I also know on Slack where people share job opportunities, assistant opportunities, and I wouldn't look past your friends as well who are also, trying to come up. Make sure you keep up with getting coffees with people. Once again, reiterating what Issa said, you can talk about work, but you don't always have to talk about work. As long as you mention voicing what it is you want to do, people think about what you said, and when opportunities start coming around, they'll remember you and they'll think of you and they'll send you, that information. So just be social and be yourself.
Thank you guys so much. The second question comes from Sage Causey. Forgive me if I mispronounce your last name, but she asks, do you feel that it's necessary to be in major cities in order to make it? I'm a photographer who moved to LA from Miami and have been here for about 2 years. I'm contemplating moving somewhere cheaper so I can cut down unnecessary costs and focus on creating content. But everyone seems to push you got to be in Los Angeles or New York to get to where you want to be. In the age of social media and having so many people within reach, is that move necessary?
I think depending on your field, you know, it doesn't have to be necessary to be in a major city. I think that a lot of people say that just because there are a lot of opportunities for jobs in like in LA or New York, but especially with photography and in the age of social media where there's a way for your work to really be put out there on the internet for a lot of people to see. I don't think that you necessarily have to be in a major city as long as your work is able to have a wide reach. I'm sure you'll still be able to get jobs from what people have seen of what you're creating.
Any other non-LA natives want to speak to why they came here and if it was necessary?
I mean, I came to LA because the goal for me is to be in a writer's room, and I know there's just way more opportunity to do that in Los Angeles. I think it really depends on the field that you're in. If you are a creative and all you want to do is, shoot some stuff or edit some things, I wouldn't necessarily say you have to go to LA or New York immediately. I would just like create a lot of content and keep like churning that stuff out. But I would argue that eventually you kind of need to be in LA, or at least you'll start going there because the more opportunities you get, the more people you meet, you're gonna have to take meetings in LA. Right now we're in quarantine, so Zoom is our friend, but hopefully when things get back to normal, it's great to be face to face with people and executives and other creatives, and there's just more people here doing that.
This person's a photographer?
Yes.
Gabrielle, tell them what to do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brittany.
I was gonna it just sounded so sad. But I was gonna say start with where you are. I think for me, I started photography back at home. And I just kind of like started to like focus on building my clientele before really trying to like tap into the industry, and then also focusing on like the type of photography that I wanted to do. Because if you want to go into like portraiture or like families, then you don't necessarily have to be in Hollywood. But if you want to do like concerts and things like that, like you really want to narrow down the type of photography you want to do first, and like really just build that clientele to be able to show to people to get to where you actually want to go. I don't think it necessarily has to be LA either. It could be, I know for me, St. Louis, it was a glass ceiling, but like any place that kind of is like Atlanta or North Carolina or like New York, any one of those places, if that's like something that you feel like you want to do, it doesn't necessarily have to be LA. But I would say like focus on just like showing yourself approved first.
All right. Thank you guys. I hope that these answers were helpful to you. And again, if it's something that you guys are interested in continuing, let us know, and then we can post this week to week.